to another edition of Right on Rangers Live, coming at you. Top of the ninth inning. It's already going. Top of the ninth inning, Berger just grounds out. And Rangers, by the way, up very comfortably in this one. We have a number of different things to talk about. We are absolutely thrilled to not be getting swept on our way out of Houston. That was definitely a concern coming into today, and the Rangers have figured out a way. It's a beautiful thing. Let's focus on the positive today. As I always like to say, when the Rangers are winning a ball game, we're going to get to everything you got as well. Justin Foskey is going to strike out here for the second out of the inning. Jake Berger, big story of the day. Nathan Eovaldi, probably the two biggest names coming out of this one. Evo, 7 shutout innings. Berger, 4 RBI. Good stuff all the way around. I think that this game was shaping up to be kind of more of the same, and you were able to get one guy breaking it wide open. And then the floodgates kind of opened from there, right? You had Higgy coming through with a base knock. You had Brandon Nimmo sending one off the wall in left field. Higgy sends this one deep. This might be gone. And it is. Kyle Higashioka. He adds more. That is his 3rd RBI of the night. Higgy going deep. Extending the Rangers lead to 8-0. A few Rangers faithful in attendance. Higgy having a nice day up at the plate today. Beautiful. Love seeing the Rangers score a lot of runs in a game. Amen. As we always like to say, though, could we please save some for tomorrow? I would love to be able to score some more runs for tomorrow, please. Save some, boys. Don't burn them all today. Come on now. That, to me, is the biggest thing as we continue on discussing this one. Can we just get some consistency out of the offense? That would be phenomenal. And look, you got a great team coming up next to do it against the Rockies. Clearly, you can't take people for granted. You can't take teams for granted. I mean, look, any team in baseball could potentially knock you off. That's the beauty of the sport. But let's be clear. You've got a great opportunity in this next series to really get on a nice little roll offensively and as a whole team. Evan Carter, 0 for 5 now on the day. He has not had a great afternoon from the leadoff spot, and that average continues to plummet. Evan Carter was kind of the focus of my video today that I put out. I don't know how many of y'all were able to see it, early morning video. We definitely love Evan Carter here on the show. I don't think any hate it was intended, but Evan Carter has been a little concerning to start this year. You've gotten great defense. You've gotten good walks. Really would love to see Evan pull out of this slump that he's in. For me, once a top prospect, you want to see a guy like this really be a key contributor, and he's done some nice things this year. I don't think anybody's denying that. His Rob of O'Neill Cruz comes to mind, and he's had a couple of nice home runs as well down the stretch. You really feel like getting Evan Carter going would mean a whole lot for consistency. That's the big word, right? Consistency with this Rangers offense. You just need more of these guys coming through on a more regular basis. It's not rocket science. Nothing profound was just said, but these are the things that you have to do to win ball games and to be a good baseball team in 2026. This, to me, is a great stepping stone. It's a great start. Now let's take it into the Colorado series. That, to me, is what I'm looking for. And if you can't take some momentum into a series against the Rockies and win some ball games, troubling. Let's not go there in our minds quite yet. Let's give the boys a chance. That, to me, is definitely something, though, in the back of my mind, if I'm being totally honest with you, something I'm looking for. I want to see the Rangers go into Denver and take care of business. You know, they should have done that this weekend against the Astros. I get it. It's Silver Boot. It's a rivalry. I totally understand it. They should have won this series. They should win the series in Colorado. You have got to start taking advantage, playing some of these down teams. Houston was not in a good place coming into this series. They had just lost 3 of 4 to Seattle. You have to take advantage early on. We talked about this last night on the show too. You've got such a mediocre AL West. Take the bull by the horns and let's see the Rangers really put their stamp on the division early, not kind of just hang around with everybody else, hang in the pack. Let's see some separation. Rangers could be doing it. You will look back, I think, and regret not having done it if the Rangers aren't able to get on a good little roll here, on a good little run of success. Rangers, by the way, at this point, I believe 5-3 in their last 8 games. Let's go wide lens. That's good stuff. 5-3 in their last 8. If they win this game, we're assuming that. 1 down right now. Gavin Collier trying to finish out a multi-inning, a 6-out, not save situation, but 6-out closeout, we'll call it. 1-1 count right now to DeZenzo, who's 2 for 3. Yeah, that's my thing. Where were these runs on Friday and Saturday, man? It's just too bad. Yeah, you just really like to see Texas not win every game. That's not going to happen. But just be consistent. Be a consistent offense. Corey Seager out again today, and he is dealing with some back issues. I definitely am a little bit concerned. We had such an injury-free start to Corey Seager's season. You kind of wonder, is this going to be extended? Is this really just maybe one more off day and he's good? It is just so odd to me that back spasms flare up on an off day. I mean, sometimes it's just dumb luck. There's nothing more to it. But it is wild to me that the back spasms flare up on the one off day that he gets. Just kind of crazy. 6-out outing. There you go. 6-out closeout, 6-out outing. We'll take it. Is Seager seeking a trade? No, I don't think so. Haven't heard anything like that. Corey doesn't really strike me as a guy that's demanding trades. I could be totally wrong on this, by the way, but he just does not strike me as a guy that is in the front office just demanding trades left and right. You guys can push back if you want because this isn't based on really anything, just my musings and my opinion about Corey Seager. But I got to say, I would be really, really shocked if Corey is in CY's office banging on the table to get out of town. Not saying that the thought hasn't crossed his mind, but nevertheless. All right, here we go. Let's finish this one now. Come on, baby. 0-2 pitch to Shoemake coming up here. And that will do it. Rangers win the Sunday series, the Sunday game, I should say. They are going to lose the series, but they get at least one here. They salvage a game. Nathan Eovaldi was incredible today. 7 shutout innings on 94 pitches. Jake Berger, 4 RBI. Kyle Higashioka, 3 RBI. Brandon Nimmo added 1 as well to tally all 8 runs. Rangers will get on a flight to Colorado, and they will face off with the Rockies for the next 3 games before another off day on Thursday. Got to take some momentum into that series. Rockies, obviously, they cannot be taken for granted. I know that they are, record-wise, one of the lesser teams in the major leagues at the moment. They are 18-28 to be specific. That is good for actually the second worst record in baseball behind the Los Angeles Angels, but the worst record in baseball in the National League. This is a series you got to win. You got to take 2 out of 3. I have told you guys this over and over. I'm never expecting or expectant of a sweep. I'm just not. I know that some people, when you face off against a team like Colorado of their caliber or lacking caliber, I think you tend to say they got to sweep them. It's so hard to do that in the game of baseball. If you've played the game long enough, you've been around the game long enough, you know this. It's not a snap of the fingers, let's go sweep a team. But the Rangers got to take 2 out of 3. You cannot lose a series to the Rockies. I do think you have to start taking advantage. The biggest thing I heard for a rebuttal coming out of that 40-game stretch that started the season, how good all the teams that the Rangers were playing record-wise were, how talented, how difficult the schedule was out the gate. Now you're getting into a fortuitous schedule. You have got to start taking advantage. Have to start taking advantage. Right now, we celebrate a win. Definitely the type of victory that at least shows you a glimpse of what the blueprint was this year. You get really elite starting pitching. You get Jake Berger bouncing back, giving you some pop. You've got Kyle Higashioka contributing, hitting well from the catcher spot, something that the Rangers haven't really gotten right over the past 2 or 3 seasons. And so at this point, you enjoy today. You are cautiously optimistic going into the Rocky series. You don't have your aces, right? You're going to be throwing Gore, you're going to be throwing Rocker, and you're going to be throwing Leiter. Always get a little bit nervous when it comes to Rocker and Leiter combo on the road. I've always enjoyed when you kind of have that Rocker as your last game at home, and then Leiter maybe starts out that series on the road. To get both of them on the road, I got to be honest with you guys, I never really feel great about that. But I do like Gore starting the series tomorrow night. I think he pitched very well last time out. And I think that you're going to get at least one good start out of the Rocker Leiter tandem. Possibly you get 3 brilliant starts and you get the offense come into play. But I'm going to say I think 2 out of 3 is coming. I do feel confident the Rangers get 2 out of 3. As we always say, nothing is going to shock me. Nothing will shock me with this team. But I do think Rangers win 2 out of 3 up in Denver. Let me get to all your comments and let me get to all the questions and everything like that. Let's enjoy this day. Beautiful Sunday here in Vegas. Don't know what the weather's doing in Arlington, but beautiful day today. Hope you guys are enjoying it. Got to soak up the rest of the weekend before Monday morning rolls around. What better way to do it than hanging out talking Rangers baseball? All right, let's roll. Isn't it freaking amazing how this club can be different from one day to the next after 2 games playing like trash, then put up 8 runs? Yeah, I mean, that is the story here. That is the story. Just consistency. Jackson, 90 and cloudy in Arlington. All right, that feels about right for May 17th. It's been a while since I lived in Arlington full time, but just thinking back, I lived there, by the way. All of y'all that are brand new, grew up in Arlington, went to Arlington High, probably lived there, through my college years as well. Moved out to Vegas about 15 years ago, and here I am. Get back to Arlington every once in a while, but 90 and cloudy does feel about right in Arlington for May 17th. G-Man, what's good, buddy? Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you as always. Yeah, I think that we all just get so frustrated with the club and how they can put up a night like tonight, they can put up a day like today, and then in the very next game, immediately afterwards, look like a different ball club. Now, I do believe in the game of baseball, you're not going to go 0-162. The Rangers are going to win some games this year. Are they going to win enough to be relevant in October? That's obviously yet to be seen. There's going to be a lot of people definitely championing this win, I'm sure, as some bigger, monumentous, meaningful win. I can't really say that. I feel that way. I feel like this was a necessary win. You had to win this game. You didn't want to get swept by Houston, who was coming into this series with the worst ERA in the league. My goodness. You had to win this game. I don't think anybody should be championing this like it is the turning point of the season. However, it's a good stepping stone. I think that's the best expression. It's a great stepping stone for the club. You're going to Colorado. They're not good. You can win 2 out of 3 games up in Denver. You've got to do it, though. You've got to make it happen on the field. I think we all felt like the Rangers could win 2 out of 3 in Houston, and you see what happened. And so I think we're all cautiously optimistic that this can be the start of something good, but the Rangers have to take care of business. And unfortunately, they do have a lot of streaky hitters, Jake Berger being one of them. Berger is a very streaky hitter. Right now, we're catching him on a very good streak. I believe Berger is like something like 8 for his last 22, with multiple bombs. He has over 1,000 plus OPS in his last 7 games. Jake Berger's a very streaky hitter. Rangers do tend to be on that side of the spectrum in terms of the consistency factor, right? The thing is, can they get all these streaky hitters on the same wavelength for a bit of an extended period, right? Can you get Jake Berger And can you also get one other guy, maybe it's Higgy, hot for an extended period where they're kind of carrying things a little bit. And then you got to get the really good elite pitching as well. That's a part of the Rangers recipe. Who knows how the game changes if there's some runs put up on the board. You just never know in this sport. Evo was masterful. And this is exactly what you needed your ace to do today. Go out, throw 7 shutout innings, and just take the pressure off. That I do feel like is just not something that's going to show up in the box score. But when you've got an ace like Evo dealing and you finally get those 2 runs punched across, you really do feel good as an offensive player, as a player out in the field. And we got this guy 2 runs. He is on fire. We're good. And you just kind of take the pressure off a little bit. So having Evo out there today, I think, was just so big for salvaging a game in this set. You definitely need to do better against Houston. You're going to get a chance to do that, next week? I believe Houston is in town Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, a week from tomorrow. So you have a chance to get right, to get back at Houston, get a little revenge. Hopefully you can take care of business at Globe Life against this squad. You don't know what Houston is going to be bringing up in terms of health. Altuve, his health, still a question mark. You got a couple other guys that are on the injured list as well, quite a few actually. So we'll see how the Astros look when they bring the team up to Arlington, but I'm glad you're able to go out on a win. What a play by Nimmo there. They're showing the replay on RSN. I did say about Nimmo, I was posting just on X and Facebook threads. I post on pretty much everything during the game. So if you ever want in-game live reaction as things are happening and not just 8th or 9th inning, definitely follow me on one of those socials. But Nimmo in right field, you just really feel like the team hasn't missed a beat defensively. And that's not throwing shade at Adolis, because Adolis is clearly a Gold Glover and one of the best right fielders in the game in terms of defense. But you really haven't felt the drop-off from Adolis out in right field. Nimmo, I do think, is pretty criminally underrated as a defender. And you look at the advanced stats with Brandon Nimmo, and I do think that they back me up here. You've seen Brandon Nimmo make a number of very nice plays out in the field. The throwing motion looks a little funky. We're being a little picky here. The throwing motion's a little odd. Dolly just had that very natural cannon. But Nimmo actually has one of the better arms in the league. You look at his arm strength on Baseball Savant, he is, I think, around the 75th percentile. I mean, this guy actually has a pretty good arm, even if it looks a little funky when he's letting it rip. And he actually covers quite a bit of ground out there in right field. I don't think he's better than Adolis defensively. Granted, we would see Dolly make some boneheaded plays out there, take bad angles. We watched multiple of those last year, but I think by and large, we would all agree Dolly's an elite defender. So I don't want to make it about Dolly versus Nimmo, but I will say out loud, I don't feel the same frustration with the right side of the infield losing Marcus Semien. That's been a big hole. You've really been able to feel Marcus Semien not being on the team out there in the field this season in 2026. I've never felt that way with Brandon Nimmo out there in right field. I can't really remember one instance where I was like, man, I wish we had Dolly. And again, I know I'm sounding like I'm throwing shade at him, and I'm really not. It's more of a compliment to Brandon Nimmo and everything that he's been able to do this year. The bat's been good. The glove has been good. He's throwing the ball well out there from right field. I definitely just continue to love this trade more and more. For all the crap that we do give CY sometimes here on the show, you got to give him credit for that one. The Semien for Nimmo trade was a big winner. Now, look, in 2-3 years, what are we going to be saying about the trade? I don't know. In 2 or 3 years, Marcus Semien's a free agent, and we'll have Brandon Nimmo, right? Nimmo is a 5-year deal. We got Nimmo for 4.5 more years. You hope Nimmo ages well. My goal for Nimmo, if you do write out the contract, would eventually be in his last 2 or 3 years, he's a really solid DH. I don't know if he's going to do right field the entire rest of the way. That would kind of surprise me. But I think you've got to love everything about the trade so far after the first 46 games of this year. We keep on rolling, man. Appreciate you guys. Dan, I'm with you on this. This doesn't change anything. And JK, I'm seeing your comment as well. Like this win doesn't change anything for me. I know there's going to be some chest banging going on X and on social media. You know, we definitely, I think, and deservedly gave the team a hard time after their two losses on Friday and Saturday night. So naturally, you're going to get some people clapping back. Oh, I told you, dude. Update. You know, you're going to get all that crap. It really doesn't change. This win doesn't change my feeling at all. This team needs to show you that they can be consistently good. What does that mean? You got to win 2 out of 3 ball games, man, consistently. 2 out of 3. Maybe not quite that bad. How about 6 out of 10? You got to go 6 out of 10 pretty consistently. And even that's hard to do, right? Even some of the best clubs can't do that. But at this point, the Rangers, they are capable of wins like this. Nobody's denying that. And Evo or DeGrom can go out and throw a gem whenever they feel like it, seemingly. You just have to see the team do it at a prolonged, at a sustained pace. And they just haven't been able to do that. This is a great win. Nobody needs to take away from it. We don't need to at all demean this win. It was a great win. And so I want to make that clear for everybody. By no means am I trying to take this win down at all. It's a big win. You don't want to get swept by Houston. You do not want to go out on the road to Colorado with a 3-loss sweep under your belt. Just not good stuff. You want to get on a happy flight after a good win, go up to Denver, win a couple, and then after that, go on to the next series and be hungry for more. So I don't think that this win proves anything. I don't think it disproves anything either that we were saying yesterday on the show, anything that I posted last night or today, and I had some strong words. Again, you follow me on X, you probably know what I'm talking about. I am very, very tired of all of the people pushing back on the passionate fans that care about this team, that want this team to do well and win, and constantly just telling them to have blind optimism, essentially. I don't think that there's right now a lot that you can really throw out there as evidence or proof that, as is, this team is going to win a World Series. Can this team win games? Absolutely, they can. Are they going to win a World Series as currently constructed? I would submit probably not. You're going to need to see them do a big deadline move. You're going to need to see them really be aggressive at the deadline if that is what you think is going to be happening this year. And nobody can predict that. Nobody can predict what the Rangers are going to do at the deadline, what kind of deal they're going to get, what kind of player they're going to get. That is so hard to predict. And so it does just make me laugh, the people that are sitting around saying, hey, based on the last 2 seasons, 24 and 25, and based on what you've seen so far in 26, which, look, the Rangers are 2 games under 500. This is a losing ball club right now. And those things need to get said out loud sometimes. This team is a losing team at the moment. That doesn't mean that they're going to end up in that, but it does definitely need to be said right now. This is not a winning ball club. The Rangers, after their first 45 games in 2023, were 28 and 17. And over their first 60 games, the 2023 Rangers went 40 and 20. And so there are some people kind of comparing, you know, hey, look what happened in 23. You know, they kind of like, you know, just skidded into the playoffs and got hot. And, you know, that's the evidence here why you should have hope. Like, you couldn't have picked like 2 very vastly different seasons. You've got a 2023 team that had half of the All-Star game starting positions filled, right? You had what, 4 All-Star game starters in 2023? Who was it? It was Young, it was Simeon, it was Seager, it was Heim, and Dolly. Did we have 5 All-Star game starters in 2023? Was it 5? So that's what I mean. Like, how could you compare 2023 with 2026? We had 5 All-Star game starters in 2023. We went 40 and 20 over our first 60 games in 2023. That's not going to happen this year. Like, 2023 was just such a different year. I don't think anybody should be pointing to 2023 as evidence that the 2026 team is going to just rip off a bunch of victories. For me, I think you've got to see the Rangers make some good moves at the deadline. if they are going to be in win now mode and truly compete for a championship. And I'll always say this: passion among the fan base should never be quelled. I would much rather have a bunch of pissed off fans than have a bunch of fans that don't care. And that's what I think some people miss. I really do. I think some people, in not wanting to hear negativity, I think they actually miss the point. You don't want to have a bunch of fans in your fan base that don't care when the team's losing. like, right, not just like don't care, the team's actually winning, they're good. You don't want that either, but it bugs me when people try to quell passion. The people that are upset right now about the club have reason to be. The Rangers have made the playoffs one time in 9 seasons. The one time happened to be a World Series championship, but the fact remains: you should be upset. You should want better for this organization. And I will always be the voice in that regard. I feel like I've had to take some grenades this year more so than usual. A lot of y'all have been amazing, but it feels like there's a lot of people constantly trying to stamp out anyone that's slightly negative or overtly negative, either way. And I just couldn't disagree more with the people trying to do that. Like, it's all fun and games to go back and forth, but the people that keep on just going and championing blind optimism, I don't understand that. There's some clear holes with this team, and the only thing that you can really point to is hope at this point. You hope that everything works out great, and it's possible that that happens, but I do think the Rangers need to add a number of more pieces if they really truly want to be contenders in 2023. I'm not really talking about anybody in particular, honestly. Who was I going back and forth with this morning? With John from DLLS. I was going back and forth with John a little bit. Like, I love some of these guys, but it's just killing me. Like the blind optimism, right? It just doesn't feel genuine. I think that's the biggest thing that really makes people upset is it doesn't feel genuine when you are telling people that what they're seeing is not accurate, right? You're not really seeing a bad team. This is actually really a good team. And this is a team that can win in October. What you're actually observing, the Rangers scoring 1 run over the first 2 games, you're thinking that they're bad. You're wrong. They're not bad. They're just not completely hitting their potential yet. Like, that's the kind of speak that really gets me frustrated. It's like, you know what? You have to at some point go off of results on the field. And if we're doing that right now, the Rangers have lost more games than they've won. So, don't pipe down the fans that are upset. Allow their passion to continue. Because for me, I want a passionate fan base. I don't want a fan base that doesn't give a crap that the team sucks. And I don't think the team is terrible or the worst team in baseball by any means. But I absolutely don't think that the Rangers are in this amazing, great place. And I really don't know why you would feel that way either. We all hope for the best. But if you're trying to be objective, I think we can all admit there's some holes on this team that need to get filled. And you hope that CY responsibly does that at the trade deadline. I know some of you guys are worried about it. Is he going to get a good deal? Are we going to burn more prospects for a guy that doesn't work out? All those things are legitimate concerns. I think that there are some fans because of that want to see a rebuild. They don't want to see Walcott traded. I personally am on kind of on the side of maximizing the hypothetical championship window. Like, you might as well just go all in. And you know what? If it falls flat, rebuild anyways. You're not going to trade Wyatt Langford. You can trade Walcott, I guess. I don't think Walcott is a sure shot future Hall of Famer or even a sure shot future All-Star. I think Walcott has a lot of good tools, and he could be a really, really good baseball player in the major leagues. But we've seen how this doesn't always work out. Look at, Leody Taveras, highly touted, very, very highly praised coming up through the system. Basically was a platoon player, right? I mean, look, our very own Evan Carter, who we love, little savior, top prospect. It hasn't gone great since 2023. There are so many examples over the years of top prospects not panning out. I would love to see the Rangers push the chips to the center of the table. I do kind of feel like they should have done that in the off season, and they didn't. Should have done that with free agency. They didn't even have to push the chips in, right? Just go sign Miguel Andujar, who's having a great year so far, by the way. That was a guy we talked about forever and ever. They're simple moves that the Rangers left on the table. That to me is frustrating. Yeah, thank you, Nate. I've used this expression in slightly different wording. I appreciate you so much, my guy. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for all the ways you support the show, man. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I do think the hope talk, we're almost there. We're gonna see it happen soon. The hits are gonna come eventually. Like I feel like all that talk eventually does start crossing into you're in denial. You are thinking that the ceiling is very very high and that you don't need to make any additional moves. And yeah, it feels more like denial than hope. Totally with you on that. We should have gotten Andujar in free agency 100%. Justin, thanks for all the likes, man. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much. Yeah, we should have gotten Andujar. That would have been a huge help. I think he's hitting slightly below 300 right now. I haven't looked at the Andujar stats lately. I'll maybe try and hop on there right now. Let's see if Skip in any of a better mood. Slightly. All right, there's a smile from Skip. He hadn't been able to smile a lot lately in these post games with Laura. There's a smile from the skipper. Andujar 295 average with 3 bombs, 14 RBI, and the OPS. Andujar, by the way, with the Padres, 801 OPS. Is that good? Could that potentially have helped the Rangers in their first 46 games? I think we know the answer to that. Yeah, Miguel Andujar is absolutely a guy I wanted to see the Rangers sign. Bringing it full circle, I do think the Rangers should have been a little more aggressive in free agency. I'd like to see them be aggressive at the deadline. I am a little bit nervous, like some of you are, that CY might not be able to get it perfectly correct. But we shall see. Time will tell. The Rangers most certainly, I think, will be active one way or the other, right? They're either going to be buying, or selling. I don't think you're going to see the Rangers, stand pat, make a little dinky move here or there. I do think it's going to be an exciting deadline one way or the other. Like we're either going to be a part of like some blockbuster trades or we are going to be actively making the blockbuster trades and getting players. We'll see what happens. We keep going. What else did I miss? Don't panic. It's early. Guys are trying to gaslight us into oblivion. Most people are no longer falling for the ruse. Yeah. The way that I put it is, it's very much like I'm smarter than you energy, which I probably give off at times. So forgive me. I try not to be condescending. I'm confident in what I know and I'm confident in my takes. Clearly, people don't always agree with me, and that's okay. That's a part of being a fan, which I love. I would never have started this if I didn't want to go back and forth with people and disagree at times. That's all a part of the fun of being a fan. I would do that with my best friends all the time with certain Rangers players and decisions. And it's great. It's why we love it. So for me, I never try to be condescending, but I hate the I'm smarter than you energy that some of the don't panic, it's early people give off. It bothers me because, again, they're asking you to suspend reality. You're watching a team struggling. We all can see that they're struggling. I don't know if the numbers changed, but did any of you guys read that the OPS this year in 2026 is actually lower than the 2025 team's OPS? So this offense coming into today had a worse OPS than the 2025 team. Again, the don't panic it's early crowd are asking you to suspend reality. And for me, I can't do that. I know what I know. I see what I see. And a lot of you guys are there too. And we're not giving up on the team. I'm not giving up on them. You guys know this. I mean, some of y'all have been with me since 2024 hanging out doing this. I'm going to be here talking ball. And I'm going to celebrate the good and I'm going to call out the bad. But at this point, I am absolutely noticing some trends that are concerning, that remind me of years past. And I don't want to see the club once again miss out on playing October baseball. I want the Rangers to be relevant among the top names in the game. And right now, I think championing, a win here or there, like today, championing hope, and yeah, we're almost there. The big hits are coming. It does sound like denial, when in reality, you probably should be actively trying to upgrade the roster. We keep rolling. Yeah, John, this is kind of crazy. I think I've mentioned this before, but Murakami clearly was sought after by a number of teams. It does make me wonder, like, how much of a market did he actually have to sign with the White Sox? No disrespect to the White Sox. I mean, they've had their ups and downs as an organization, but shoot, I mean, they won a championship, 20 years ago? That's more recently than some ball clubs. Now, with the White Sox, they offered him some money. Obviously, the contract was what he was looking for. Jeff Passan actually said the number one priority for the Rangers should be signing Murakami. That third base would have been a nice fill spot. I know Josh Young is having a good year, but you could have figured that out. Murakami would have been a great signing. I mean, look, he hits homers. He is very much a three true outcome guy, which I don't know how well that fits into Skip's offense and philosophy. The walks are good. Obviously, who doesn't like homers? But Skip's offense is very much a put the ball in play, go station to station, do the little things right, situational hitting. And, Murakami is not that. A three true outcome guy is not, focusing on small ball and situational hitting. So I think you make exceptions, though. Corey Seager, he's one of the exceptions in our lineup. Murakami would have been a great signing. It bothers me that they did not go after him harder, considering that the White Sox ultimately ended up signing him. I think Darvish, my understanding is there's not any bad blood between him and the organization. I don't know if that's kind of what you were insinuating here a little bit. I don't think there's bad blood between Darvish and the Rangers. I think you understood back in 17. I think he understood that the Rangers weren't going anywhere, and he had a chance to win a World Series. If not for the trash can bangers, he probably would have won a World Series. Infamously, Darvish got lit up in Game 7 of that 2017 World Series between the Dodgers and Astros. I think Darvish maintained his home in Arlington or in the Dallas-Fort Worth area for a while. I mean, I don't know. I think that there's still, positive vibes between the two. Just because he didn't come back and sign with us after that, I don't think that means anything. I don't think you have to look into that. I think Darvish had a good tenure in a Rangers uniform. And I think he honestly helped put the Rangers on the map for all of the fans in Japan and in Asia, which I think we should always be grateful to him for. I don't think that played into it very much. We'll see. We'll keep on rolling. Nimmo, Simeon, Seager, Wyatt, Jock, Young, Carter, Berger, and Jansen as your lineup would feed families. Yeah, you've got a number of different guys right now that are just not all the way clicking. And I think you're going to see guys ebb and flow this year. My big thing that I said earlier is, can you just get a few guys on the same wavelength, right? So you had a nice game from Nimmo today. Can we get Nimmo and Berger smoking the ball in tandem for the next couple of series? Like, things like that would be really helpful. I feel like, we're getting like one guy who's really hot, and everybody else, it's like, eh. And it's just so hard to drag the offense when you're one or maybe one of two guys that are actually hitting the ball well. Japanese baseball Twitter had said his MPB team were pretty similar to the White Sox. A lot of dingers on a bad team. That's an interesting comparison. I don't know enough about the Japanese teams. I've been to Japan and I've seen a couple of MPB games. It's amazing, by the way. If you ever get a chance to go to Japan, go watch a baseball game. It is pretty incredible. It's like you feel like you're watching a WBC game like every single time. They really get into it as a crowd. Love the vibes at some of those games. But that is a unique comparison. I might have to read more into that. Gore versus Quintana tomorrow at Coors Field. Hitter's ballpark for sure. Offense, offense better score some runs. I'm with you on that. Like if you can't score at Coors Field, you've got bigger issues. You really do. Let me go back on TikTok a little bit here. I don't know if anybody dropped a comment. Some of y'all aren't too happy with Corey Seager right now. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Siegs. Like the back spasms on the off days were kind of odd to me. Maybe he was dealing with something before, which might explain some of the struggles. But if the back spasms popped up on an off day, clearly we wish all the best for Corey. But it's like, like, isn't that so Rangers over the last couple of years? Like, we're giving you an off day so you can get right, and you have a back spasm on the off day. Like, that's Rangers in 2026 for you. I don't know if he's going to play in the Colorado series. It wouldn't surprise me if they sit him out because they do have the off day on Thursday. So maybe they're thinking about a full week off here. That would mean he only misses 6 games. That's not terrible. I think the Rangers could probably go that direction. Hopefully, though, he can get involved. I would like to see him back in the series. I do think, regardless of the struggles, having Corey Seager in your lineup is way better than not having him in your lineup. So we'll see what happens. But 90% chance of rain tomorrow night. All right. Maybe they don't play. Maybe they do a doubleheader or something. We'll see what happens there. News on Wyatt? I don't think so. I saw Wyatt in the dugout during the game. I'm sure some of y'all did too. I think that the plan is he starts swinging a bat at the end of May, which would probably put him back in a Rangers uniform playing ball maybe like first or second week of June. I think that's probably got to be like the prognosis at this point is maybe second week of June. He's back after doing all the rehab stints and everything like that. We shall see. I would like to see the Rangers get back to full strength as quickly as possible because that's another component of this. You know, you have some of these injuries, right? Josh Smith is injured. I know Smitty wasn't playing that great before the injury, and Smitty's actually dealing with the meningitis right in the hospital. So again, prayers for him. But you know, you've got Seager hurt, and it just builds in excuses, right? It builds in excuses. And so I would really like to see everybody healthy so we can just truly see this squad for what it is. And there's no room for saying, you know, well, the guy coming off the IL is basically like a trade acquisition. How many times have we gotten that line before? I don't want to see that happen. I want the Rangers to be healthy so we can really have a crystal clear understanding of where this team is at. By the way, update on Corey Seager. Jeff Wilson just tweeted that you have Seager going back to Arlington to see a back specialist and complete the MRI and everything like that. So I think you are going to probably see Seager miss Monday's game if I had to guess, if he's going back to Arlington. That's not to say he couldn't hop on a flight tomorrow, but it feels like unlikely he's probably going to be playing in the opener against the Rockies tomorrow night. Some fans are ready to trade Corey. Yeah, I think there's a big frustration right now among a lot of Rangers fans with Siegs. You know, and with Corey, it really does just totally line up perfectly with the team as a whole and the feelings that we had from the team last year in 2025. So over the last 3 years, Rangers clubhouse has been very businesslike, right? Take care of your business. It's not necessarily rah rah and you know super boisterous, loud voices. It's just hey, do your business, get your stuff done, come ready to play. You know, Corey, known for being a guy who kind of does his own thing. And when you're winning, I think Kennedy Landry actually talked about this in a little podcast she did. You know, when you're winning, none of that matters. Nobody cares if the clubhouse is like super high vibes or very businesslike and boring. Nobody cares if you're winning ball games. And so when the Rangers won it all in 2023, it was actually a pretty businesslike clubhouse. There were guys like Higgy that made it feel like less than that. And you also had Nate Lowe, just very positive and very energetic. And so it felt a little less like that. But I think that in all reality, most of 2023 had that business like feel to it. But the Rangers were winning and they won a World Series. And so nobody cared. And when you think about Corey and when you think about the 2024, 2025 teams, they didn't make the playoffs. They weren't very good at times. And that's when people start peeling back the layers on, okay, so you're kind of like your own person. You kind of do your own thing and we're losing. Maybe that's the problem. I think it becomes like a very easy target, becomes very much low hanging fruit when the team isn't playing well. And so I think it's the same with Corey. You have Corey keeping to himself. He has his own swing doctor, doesn't, necessarily get his primary feedback from any of the Rangers hitting coaches. It's from his swing doctor, right? He's known for going off before games, kind of doing his own thing. Well, when you're losing, when you're not playing well individually, which Corey is not right now, all those things become magnified, right? All those things become bigger and bigger. And so I see why the fans are turning a little bit, right? You don't have like this lovable personality in Corey. I think we all love the player, and Corey is by all accounts an awesome dude. We don't know Corey personally. We just know him from what we see on the baseball field, right? But everybody that I've talked to loves Corey Seager that actually knows him. So I think that does need to get said out loud. But from a fan perspective, when you don't have that personal side to it, you don't really get a great feel of Corey's personality and his overall persona over the course of 162 games on RSN. I understand why Corey struggling stokes the flame a little bit. I get it. And so for me, I understand why Rangers fans are wanting to trade him. I understand why Rangers fans are not happy with Corey Seager. But I think at this point, until you really understand where you're at the end of July with win-loss, with playoff projections, all that, the Rangers have got to get Corey Seager right. It's in their best interest whether they keep him or trade him. You want Corey Seager to be right. We're rooting for him. I hope that he comes back from this back thing and absolutely crushes it, because that would mean Texas is probably winning some ball games. Keep going. Remember, Seager had the sports hernia past offseason, might have an effect on his play this year. Yeah, he's kind of dealt with a number of different things, honestly. Zeke's stock is up. He looks really good at shortstop, too. I mean, for me, Zeke, I do think I mentioned it last night on the show. Zeke, he probably is not going to sustain this pace. I would bet against it. And I'm not saying that to be a troll or to be disrespectful to the guy, but I would just bet against Zeke maintaining this pace. I hope he's turned a corner in his career and he's now suddenly a 275 plus 800 plus OPS hitter. I have my doubts. I do think a guy like Zeke Duran could be packaged with somebody else to get a decent ball player. Zeke kind of being the ready made, and then you maybe add in a couple of prospects. I do think there's a very strong argument. Like, the stock is high, maybe you trade. Now, maybe you were saying that they need to consider making him more of the shortstop of the future. I don't know. I don't think I'm on that page with Zeke right now. I think Zeke has been great to start this year. I wouldn't necessarily bet on it being sustainable. I would actually probably say, see if there's anyone thinking that it is, and see if you could potentially get something more certain in the lineup with Zeke Duran as a potential trade option. We'll see what the Rangers decide to do there. Duran has been good this year, but is he an everyday player? Honestly, no, but he's shown you that he can stay consistent. Dan, this is pretty much exactly how I feel. Honestly, no, he's probably not like an everyday guy. He's probably not 275, 800 plus OPS guy, but he's having a good year and we appreciate that. But I think the Rangers would be foolish to not keep all their options open. Osuna needs to stay in the lineup. Yeah, I'm a fan of Alejandro Osuna. Probably, I would say, borderline biased. I like watching him play the game, and I enjoy when he's in the lineup. I think he gives you quality ABs. He was 1 for 3 with 2 runs scored tonight. He's hitting 261 with a 707 OPS. I think this is a guy that really goes up to the plate with confidence. He doesn't feel over his skis. I've never really felt that way with Osuna. And so for me, I'd like to continue to see him get more and more opportunities. It's going to depend on, Wyatt Langford's health right now. Osuna really getting a big opportunity because Wyatt is down injured. But I've said it pretty vociferously, like, you have to find a way to get creative to keep this guy around. I did hear that Osuna is taking some first base reps. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. I want to say it was, I forget who it was, one of the credentialed people. I'm going to butcher the name. I'll see if I can look it up on X right now. But one of the media members posted before the game, that before one of the home games, that Osuna was taking first base reps for like the second day in a row. And so maybe there's something to this. Maybe somebody's listening to Right on Rangers. I think, it was Kane McCutcheon. I don't know if you guys follow Kane. I don't see his tweets a ton, to be totally fair, but he is a Rangers and Wings, the Dallas Wings WNBA team beat writer. And so give him a follow. The stuff I do see from him is pretty quality, but he did tweet out Osuna back-to-back days working out at first base. That to me is the play. If you can get a nice platoon option with Jake Burger, you don't have to platoon Burger every time there's a right-handed starter. But I do think it would be nice. Just give Osuna one more position where he can slide in and potentially make a difference. That is a hard transition, no doubt. It's a difficult transition, but I think it's one that the Rangers would be wise to at least attempt with Osuna. With a player like him that can, only play the outfield because of his handedness, like he throws lefty, so you're not going to have him play any infield position besides first base. First base outfield option is so huge with those lefty guys. It really is. So I'm glad that Osuna is working on his versatility. I think that's outstanding. First base is a very difficult position to play. I think that it might be something that they need to roll out more later on in the season or next year, but they might not have that luxury. Hopefully Burger can just keep crushing it, and then we don't even have to worry about Burger platoon. But I have said for a long time, getting Osuna first base reps just for the sake of having him on the roster as a versatile player, as a good lefty bat off the bench, I'm a big fan, no doubt. Yeah, Bryce Harper, he did the outfield to first base transition. He's a pretty good first baseman now, but it took a while to get to that point, no doubt. All right, we keep on rolling. Appreciate all you guys. I don't know, John. I'm sorry, man, if I missed this comment from a while back. I don't think that Siegs has been playing hurt, but it's always a possibility. It is always a possibility. Hang on one sec here. Okay. They officially announced, Skip Schumacher officially announces Corey Seager will not play the first day in Colorado. So, again, not anything that any of us couldn't have guessed, but Seager going back to Arlington for an appointment with a back specialist, MRI, all that stuff, and he will not play in the club's first game against Colorado in Denver tomorrow night. So there's that. There's the Seager update for you. I don't think he was playing hurt. I guess you never can tell, but I don't think he was playing hurt. Burger in the lineup today. Dan says he would keep Burger right where Burger is at. Yeah, Burger hit 7th today. I think a lot of us have said Burger hitting 7th or 8th is kind of a sweet spot. I would like to see Burger maintain position towards the bottom of the order. I think there's going to be a temptation to move him up if he starts hitting really well. I would like to see him continue to rake from maybe the 6 or the 7 spot. I think that would be ideal. I don't know if he's an 8 or 9 hitter. I think Burger is a guy that you want in one of those two places. Gives you some pop when your number 4, number 5 hitters get on base. It's kind of what happened today, right? Your 4, 5, 6 hitters are getting on base. Burger comes up 7th and gives you a little thump from that spot, and suddenly you're up 4-0 thanks to your 7-hole hitter. So I am with you 100% on this, Dan. I don't want to see Skip mess with Burger's spot too much. I could see the argument to move him up a little bit, but I do not want to see Berger go back to cleanup at this point. Josh Young, 0 for 4 today. Young did not have an awesome series in Houston, right? He actually went hitless. Josh Young was 0 for 12 against the Astros. So you're hoping that JJ finds a way to get back on track in Colorado. He is 6 for his last 28. He had a little 0 for going against the Yankees. He broke out of that with a 3-hit game. But over his last 7 games, 214 with just a 491 OPS. So maybe something to keep your eye on with JJ. Sure hope he continues to have success. You do not want to see him dip. The 491 OPS over his last 7 games, a little concerning. He's hitting in the 3-4 spots with Seager out especially. You really don't want to see JJ start fading, man. Don't want to see it. Look, I'm not saying that I've done a deep dive into everything, how he's been hitting the ball, the exit velos, and all that stuff. But I think by and large, you have a little bit of a higher standard for those guys hitting in the 3-4 spot, and JJ going 0 for 12 in this series. Not conducive to a lot of wins, but Rangers were able to win today. Looking at JJ's numbers, Young looks like had 2 hard hits today. He did have a ground out. He did have a fly out. Look, I am less and less apt to champion exit velocity. I'd rather look at other things. I'd rather look at, the launch angle. I'd rather look at how these guys are hitting the baseball. The barrel percentage is something that I appreciate a little bit more than exit velocity. For me, the launch angle and barrel are the 2 things I'm looking for to really determine how a player's doing, right? What good does it do you if you're hitting a 95-mile-an-hour pop-up to the catcher? Are we really saying that that player is going well? And that does happen, by the way. Jock Peterson's done that a couple of different times this year. 98 popped straight up in the air. I think you got to be careful looking at the exit velocities and really making a judgment call. Look at the barrel percentage. Look at the launch angle percentage. That to me is what I'm going to be using as kind of the measuring stick here. So JJ, you hope he can get back on track back in Denver. 0 for 12 never feels good when you are facing a rival, especially. We score 10 runs or 0 every time. Killer B, it does feel that way. At least Skip has been toying with the leadoff spot. Who's the best option? Still think Nimmo. JK, I'm with you on that. Look, Carter led off today, and it didn't go well. He went 0 for 5 with 2 strikeouts. I did put out a reel on Carter today, and I love Evan Carter. I want the record to show. I love Evan. Love the little savior, but it has not gone great, really, since he had that incredible run from September to November with the Rangers in 2023. Clearly, he's still young. Clearly, injuries have derailed perhaps some of the progress there, but it just has not been good with Evan, and it is concerning. You have Evan Carter as kind of the face of the farm system for a couple of years as, the number 1 prospect, and he's really looking very much like a platoon player right now, just like an average platoon player. And that number 3 hitter that we had all playoffs long in 2023 is just kind of nowhere to be found right now. For me, I really want to see Evan get back on track. The Rangers are a different team when Evan Carter is playing well. It makes all the difference. I don't think you have to look any further than what they did in 2023. But Evan right now, 167 batting average, 605 OPS. I agree that the defense is outstanding. I think he's one of the best defenders in center field in the league. I do like the walks. He can get on base in other ways. He can cause some trouble on the base paths too. But nevertheless, Evan Carter, for me, a guy that has to get it going. I think whether you are upset that I'm bringing up Evan Carter, you think I'm being too harsh on him, there's nothing untrue about what's being said. The Rangers need Evan Carter, and it's not going well for him right now. And with the Rangers being in win now mode at the moment, I wish that we could just say, hey, unlimited runway for everybody. It doesn't matter how bad any of the prospects, any of the farm guys from a couple of years ago are playing, but that's disingenuous. You need Evan Carter playing well, especially, if he's going to be your leadoff hitter. So I understand we got some Evan Carter apologists, some people that really love Evan. I love Evan too, but let's not, stick our head in the sand here. It hasn't gone great since 2023. And even looking at the advanced stats, there's not a lot that makes you feel like a turn is coming. The page is quite blue at this point in time. I don't really feel like there's a lot I can point to personally right now with Evan beyond the walks. The walks are nice, but in terms of contacting the baseball, which ultimately you got to do well in this league to stick around, I think that Evan's got a lot of work to do. I definitely want to see him come out of this, and I think the Rangers are going to be so much better for it. Yeah, he's playing outstanding defense out there. He's probably saved a couple of runs, no doubt. We know about the O'Neill Cruz catch. He made a couple of nice catches against the Yankees. He's a great defender. He's a great guy. You just want to see him start popping, and you want to see him start figuring it out here. Henry, what's good, man? I agree. He has more leash than I think some of these other guys. And I think it's because of what he did in 2023. I mean, he's gotten 24, 25, 26. I do think if you kind of take the lighter rocker approach, Henry, and it's good to see you as always, my guy. Always appreciate you. I do think that next year is the year, right? I think next year is the year. Henry, I don't know what you're thinking in terms of timeline, but I think if you do kind of drag this out and you go, hey, let's give him the lighter rocker runway, I think you kind of say, hey, year 4 is the year, right? He had 24, 25, 26, 27 would be like his 4th full season, 4.5 if you count the 2023 run. For me, that's kind of what I'm looking at. Next year is kind of the Evan Carter judgment year. What is he going to really be? Is he going to take a positive step forward? That's kind of what I'm looking at. Keep on going. How is Hellman doing in AAA ball? I have not heard anything about Mike Hellman, but I absolutely will look up the stats right now. Hellman is at the moment. Come on, man. What are we doing here? Computer being slow. Technology. He's not hitting well. Hellman is under the Mendoza line right now, 198 in AAA. So not all the little rascals are doing so hot down in the minor leagues at the moment. We keep going. Good to see Evo turn it around. Absolutely. I mean, to be fair, Evo's last 3 starts have been phenomenal. His last 3 starts, he pitched 2 against the Yankees, 1 against the Astros, and last 3 starts have been amazing. Like, you look at his game log against the Yankees, he's given up 1 earned run in his last 22 innings. So Eovaldi has been hot. I know it feels like maybe not because of the start he's had, but Evo's given up 1 earned run in his past 22 innings. And that goes along with 23 strikeouts and 3 walks. Evo is on a heater right now, and I'm so glad that he didn't miss a beat. That was kind of what I was worrying about last night is the injury going to throw him off in any way? The rhythm, the momentum that he had from the Yankees outings? Clearly not. Dude's good. If you want to keep him around after year 4, he can't expect a massive deal. He's going to have to be okay on a prove-it deal. Well, they actually have Evan Carter under control until 2030. I think 2030 is Wyatt Langford and Evan Carter's UFA, your unrestricted free agent. So, I mean, you've got 27, 28, and 29. You've got 3.5 more years left with Carter and with Langford. I mean, you have some of the ARB years, right? So, you got to see what Evan Carter might be making in ARB1, ARB2, ARB3. Wyatt Langford, same thing. But this year, ARB1 is not going to be too expensive for Wyatt Langford or Evan Carter. Both of them are getting into their very first arbitration year. And so I feel like for the Rangers and from that perspective, you're probably not going to have to go up too high next season paying Evan Carter and Wyatt Langford in ARB1. Cawley has been good. Let me look up Cawley right now and just see where he's at. Cawley is sitting at a 242 average with a 710 OPS, so not bad. Over his, let me see if I can get a little game log up for him. Like, let's see if he's kind of been turning it on of late or if he's doing a little more of the same. In May, he's hitting 260 with a 683 OPS. So nothing is like jumping off the page to me right now with Cauley. And you guys know I'm a big Cam Cauley fan. I do think that he is going to make his major league debut at some point this season. I would be surprised if he doesn't. I mean, he would have to be really, really bad down the stretch. I still think he finds a way, maybe when the rosters expand, to make it. But on the AAA team, I kind of want to see if we can look this up here. Like, who are the best hitters on Round Rock right now? I think I might be able to get it figured out for us here. Just give me a quick second. But for me, I don't know that the Rangers have a lot in AAA that you are just salivating about at this moment in time. I think you've got some guys, obviously, that are having good years and having solid years, but I am not too sure that there's anybody right now in Round Rock that the Rangers are eyeing as a guy that's going to come up and make any kind of instant impact. Right now, just so you guys have the numbers, highest average on the team is Savala with a 272 average and a 780 OPS. You had Jonah Bride, 264 with a 794 OPS. Trevor Hauver, 252 average with a 723 OPS. And then Cam Cauley, 242 with the 710 OPS. So there's not really a lot down in Round Rock that's making you feel amazing right now. I mean, there's definitely some guys that had a quality spring training and you have a good impression of them, but there's nobody that's tearing the cover off the baseball. Foscue is the best hitter, and they pulled him up. Now, on the pitching side, you've got a number of different things to look at here. First of all, the Rangers, you had, let's see, well, Cal Quantrill was down for a while. You also had, of course, Austin Gomber, who was let go. The Rangers, even on the pitching side, I'm looking at this roster at the moment, and I am not seeing a ton that's making me feel like, hey, we've got somebody down that really deserves to be up at this moment in time. Teodo has a 6.27 ERA. Oof. Robbie Alstrom, 3.42 ERA. Not bad. Not bad. Alexis Diaz, 2.81 ERA. But the whip is 150, so a lot of base runners there. Dane Acker, 9.18 ERA. Yeah, there's not a lot that's jumping off the page to me. I'm sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. There's not a lot jumping off the page to me in AAA right now. Not a lot. Yeah, Cade, I'm with you on this. We'll stop reading through all the numbers. I don't want to damper the mood. AAA, it feels like you've got some potential, but nobody that's really at this point in time crushing it. Personally, in the next few weeks, if we struggle, we should lean towards a fire sale. We don't have much hope in the org. Yeah, I think the Rangers over the next month and a half are going to get a clearer picture. I think you kind of have to ride it out at this point. I would still try to be proactive if I was CY, making phone calls, seeing if I could find a way to upgrade the offense. I think the Rangers are probably going to have to ride this one out. Appreciate all y'all hanging. Let's see. What's the story on Robert Garcia? Yeah, Robert Garcia is still dealing with like a shoulder issue or something. Mason Thompson blew it today. Holly today. Honestly, think we buy and sell if we're still in it. We might. I just don't know who you would sell. It kind of depends, right? Like, if the Rangers want to go and get like a third baseman, for example, could Josh Young potentially be in a trade for some elite third baseman that's going to come available? Sure. Or a second baseman. Like, I think the Rangers could definitely trade some major league players at the deadline. We'll see what ends up happening, but I feel like to get a really top-notch player, you almost have to give up some type of quality in the major leagues. Sometimes you can get away without it, but that is most likely what I think is going to have to happen. Maybe a Duran gets thrown in a deal, a Josh Young gets thrown in a deal. I think the Rangers are going to have to, if they keep Walcott, which they might not do, they might trade Walcott and try and, like I said, push all the chips to the center. But if they do keep Walcott, it almost feels inevitable. Like they've got to open up a place for him to play. You could play him in right field and move Nimmo to kind of a DH role with Jock Peterson falling off the books next year. That doesn't feel like too far out of left field, no pun intended. Then you got to make Walcott a right fielder. I don't know how good you feel about that. He has played a little bit of outfield down in the minor leagues, but it feels more natural that maybe you make him a second baseman or a third baseman. I don't think Corey Seager is moving off a shortstop next year. And by the way, maybe I am being way too presumptuous that Walcott is going to make the team out of spring training next year. I feel like that's kind of where we're at with his progression, but he might not even be making the team next year. I don't know. Josh Young to second base, T Money. It's hard for me to picture that. I don't know if anybody else is having trouble with this, but JJ just doesn't feel nimble enough for me to play second base. Second base, you kind of have to have a little bit more range. Is anybody else feeling the same way? T Money, I'm not saying it's the worst idea in the world, but it feels like JJ not quite agile enough to play second. He's kind of a big plotting guy. Doesn't run super fast, not super quick. Obviously, at the hot corner, you do have to react left and right with pace, but you really have to cover a lot of ground playing up the middle. I mean, Walcott at second does feel like a waste too. That's why I kind of wonder if maybe he does take over third and maybe they decide to trade JJ. I don't know. It does feel odd. Like, what are they going to have to do to make this work? I'm with you. I'm with you on that. T Money, appreciate you, man. It's good stuff. Honestly, it's good stuff. Should we trade Walcott for Marte? That's a good question. I think we talked last night or a couple nights ago. I would be a fan of the Rangers going after Bryce Terang if the Brewers are out of it. Terang's hitting 295. He is 26 years old. He's controllable for 3 more years. If the Brewers wanted to trade this guy, I would love to get him over Marte. I mean, Marte, he at the moment is hitting 216 with 5 homers. Marte is 32 years old. I don't know how much longer his contract is, but I would probably prefer the Rangers try and go a little younger than Marte. And maybe I'm being a little armchair quarterback with the year he's having because I probably would have been a fan of the Rangers getting Marte in the offseason. But for me, if I am going to go and sell Walcott, I want to get somebody who's younger. I want to get somebody in their 20s who's controllable if possible. And I think you might have to throw in some major league talent to make it happen. But that's where I'm at. Terang for sure is going to cost a pretty penny. No doubt. Dreiling will be future right field. I mean, that would be fun. I like Dylan Dreiling a lot, but I do think that it's hard to say at this point. It's so difficult to project how are prospects going to react at the AAA level, at the major league level. We've seen it so much. A guy is raking at AA. A guy is raking at AAA. And then they come up and want. Dustin Foscue is probably the primo example of that right now. Losing Fitzgerald, big miss. Yeah, he's been crushing it for the Nationals at high A. I mean, look, he might not pan out when he gets to the more advanced levels either, but it is hurtful seeing Devin Fitzgerald hit like 10 bombs in 10 days. I'm with you. Malcolm Moore definitely is a please save us. That is for sure. Oh, Sam Huff. Yeah, Sam Huff's an example of what we're talking about too. That's a perfect comp. Sam Huff was a guy that could hit it out of the ballpark at AAA, AA. Then you got him up to the big leagues, and it just didn't translate. I don't know if the Brewers are going to trade Terang either. That's just a name that I've seen kind of floated if the Brewers are not in contention. I think it would take a haul to get Terang from the Brewers at this point. But I'm just saying that's the kind of player I'd like to see the Rangers get. Did I have high hopes for Willie Calhoun? Look, I wanted Willie to work out. We got Yu Darvish traded to the Dodgers. Willie was kind of the big piece. I really wanted to see Willie work out. It felt like there was a lot of like weird off the field stuff with him that kind of derailed it a little bit. Felt like he was worrying a little bit too much about off the field stuff, not totally locked in. That was just the vibe I got. Might be totally off base, but for me, I think everybody wanted to see Calhoun play well, considering we lost a fan favorite in Yu Darvish. Just was never meant to be. Looking at him now, I don't know why I believed in him yet. Like, I think, like I said, we all had the emotional attachment to you. I loved Yu Darvish. Loved Yu Darvish. Loved watching him pitch. Loved watching him play the game. And so I think we all just were like, hey, we got to trade you. We're not good. We want to maximize the value. And we all just wanted Willie Calhoun to succeed. Kind of in honor of you. And it just never worked out. We keep going. Brett Beatty. Let me see. Let me take a look here. Brett Beatty at this point, 231 average with 2 homers. I'm not super moved. I think if you're going to trade Walcott, you got to get a sure shot. Like, you have got to get a sure shot. Somebody that's hot, somebody that has pedigree. I don't think you want to trade Walcott. If that is, the parameters here. If you're going to trade Walcott, you have to get a sure shot. It can't be, a guy that's having a down year, but he's got a lot of good seasons in MLB under his belt. No, if you trade Walcott, you have got to get a guy that is 1000% helping your team immediately. And I get it. It's baseball. You never can tell, but you have to get the closest thing to a sure shot that you can if you're going to trade away your top prospect. Keep rolling. Ronald Guzman. I like the swing too. He had some pop, man. He had some power. We're going late 2010s Rangers right now. I love it. Late 2010s Rangers. What a time to be alive. Mike Olt. Jeez. You guys are throwing it back. I love it. I love it. How about you get McGill and Terang in exchange for Walcott, Duran, and a pitching prospect? I feel like that pitching prospect's probably got to start with Scarborough. I mean, if you're going to get McGill, Terang, it's probably going to be Walcott, Duran, and Scarborough, honestly. Maybe more. Look, I'm not a prospect pearl clutcher. You'll hear me say that a lot on the show. If you have the chance to get as close to a sure shot as you can and give up a top prospect that's not, a Bryce Harper or a Mike Trout incarnate, do it. I mean, there are certain prospects, Paul Skeens. Yeah, this guy's going to be good in the majors. Like, no doubt. He's just otherworldly. And that's how Harp was, and that's how Mike Trout was. But for me, I'm okay trading a guy if they are not in that high upper echelon of players that I just named. So I am okay with them trading Walcott, but they got to make it count. You definitely, I think, team money. I think first base and second base you can still upgrade. Hear me out on this one. Like, I think Duran can play anywhere. Like, you can kind of use Duran in the Josh Smith super utility role. Is he going to play every single day? Probably not, but that's probably okay. I definitely think second base is the primary spot to upgrade, my guy. I think first base you could do as well, but second base feels like the spot. You really want to lock that up. And if you could kind of go future minded, that to me would be, how do we get second base and how do we get shortstop of the future? Maybe that's Walcott and you keep him. But if you trade Walcott to upgrade right now, you kind of have to have your eye on that with Corey Seager continuing to age. I think Duran is going to be best served, though, in a super utility role. I don't think we need to pretend like, second base is locked down forever. I think Duran's having a great 46 games, but I think we've seen Duran fade sometimes after hot starts. So for me, I'm not ready to lock down second base. In fact, I'm of the mindset, hey, let's make Duran super utility guy. He can play all over the dang field. And then you've got kind of this everyday sure shot second baseman. That sounds ideal to me. Is Josh Smith dead and gone? In the hospital. In the hospital, meningitis, last I heard. Prayers up for him, man. I hope he gets better soon. That's for sure. Get Duran behind the dish. Make him IKF, Zach. I love it, man. Yeah, I think that Duran, beyond catcher, shoot, he's pitched, right? Doesn't Duran have a 0 ERA? Isn't that the lore with Ezekiel Duran? He's got a 0 ERA. So literally, he's done everything but catch. If we go 500 between now and the deadline, I assume you'd want to sell. Depends on where we're at in the standings. But yeah, I think if we're just a 500 ball club and maybe we look up and it's trade deadline and we're 2 or 3 games under 500, again, I'd really have to know how many games out are we? Are we in a playoff spot? All those things I'd have to know in tandem with the 500. But I would say at this point, if you don't see the Rangers really go on a prolonged run of success, to use Cody Freeman and what he made for his prediction the other night on the show, a 10 out of 15. Like, if you can't get consistent, hey, we're winning 10 games out of 15, we're winning 9 games out of 15, that to me is a sign. Like, I would definitely take that into consideration, but it's going to be tough. I think the Rangers have to show you more than what they're showing right now. I think there's a lot of people, myself included, that really, really worry. Yeah, you got a nice win today, but can you be consistent? That's the magic word, right? You've got to see this club figure out a way to have sustained success in this league. CY's definitely, though, I mean, this is a point well made. CY, he will definitely be pulling the trigger on some trades if we're anywhere close. I would almost think, we've got to be 5+ games out for him to not feel like we've got a shot. I feel like it's got to be like 5+ games out for him to finally throw in the towel. There could be maybe, I think there's always guys available. You've just got to make a nice trade. You've got to make a good package, put a good package together. Like, yeah, there's not media reported catchers that are available for trade, but trust me, you throw a good enough package in front of anybody, they're listening. His help will be selling the rest of our farm for 2 to 3 months of a mid-market pitcher. Yep, that doesn't sound inaccurate. CY better go get a bat, man. He better go get a bat at this deadline. You can't not go get a prime bat, back-to-back deadlines, miss the playoffs, and then say to yourself, man, I'm tripling down. I got to go get me an elite pitcher again at the deadline. It's got to do something different. Rutschman would definitely be a guy I would have liked to have gotten. Look, Hunter Goodman, Rockies, that could be another one that I think a lot of people might be interested in. We'll see what happens. Hey, this coming week, we've got Rockies, 3-game set, off day on Thursday, by the way. Tomorrow, Mackenzie Gore on the bump, and we'll go through some of the matchups. I'd imagine Gore has a few numbers against Rockies players. We'll see, but I'd imagine he probably does. Gore versus Quintana, we already said that. Quintana, a lefty. This is what worries me. Rangers got to go up against the southpaw right away. So Gore against the Rockies. Beck 0 for 2. Castro 0 for 3. Goodman 1 for 3. This is crazy. McCarthy 6 for 6 against Gore. Moniak 2 for 4 with a bomb. Tovar 0 for 2. There's Gore. 6 for 6. McCarthy, the left fielder. Jeez. On the other side, Rangers against Quintana. Berger 0 for 4. Duran 0 for 4. Higgy 1 for 8. Jansen 0 for 3. Josh Young 0 for 3. McCutchen 8 for 27 with the home run. Brandon Nimmo 2 for 5 with a home run, and Corey Seager, who won't be playing tomorrow, 2 for 10. So the others, Osuna, Peterson, Haggerty, Foscue, Carter, no career ABs against Quintana. But you've got McCutchen, you've got Nimmo with some good success. I'd imagine you'll probably see Kutch tomorrow. I'm sure Nimmo will be up at the top of the order again. So we'll see. Quintana, 3.97 ERA. Let's see what he did in his last appearance. Last game out, looks like he went 4 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks. So not a great outing against the Pirates. Before that, Mets, 5 2/3, 2 earned runs. Before that, Atlanta, 6 innings, 1 earned run. So he hasn't been pitching bad. 3.97 ERA, definitely not a guy you want to take for granted. Might want to walk that McCarthy dude, John. Yes, sir. Hope McCutchen can get it going. He had such a great spring training, such a hot start to the year, too, in the Phillies series. You'd love to see Kutch have a big game. Absolutely. If Duran is still around after a hypothetical fire sale, I'd play him at catcher for the laughs, maybe to see if he could be a stopgap until Malcolm Moore comes up. That would be hilarious. I really hope, going to the back nine of your comment here, I really hope Malcolm Moore pans out. It just does not feel like the Rangers have a lot of long-term options right now at the catching position. Finally, the offense showed up. Yup. Pretty clear today, Higgy should be the starter, at least starting the majority of the games. I'm with you on that. I really did think we would carry on the momentum for the Cubs series, too. It's been very up and down since. If you were CY or Skip right now, Colton, what's good? What are your first moves? First move is definitely improving second base and improving the right side of the infield. I think we all love what Berger did today. I'm not saying Berger needs to get, sent to the moon. I think Berg is a streaky hitter. He still has to prove himself this year, but I would probably start with upgrading second base. The next thing I would do is I would probably try and get one more lockdown arm out in the pen. I just feel like with how many close games we play, you could really use a little bit more depth out in the pen. And then my third would probably be seeing if you could upgrade first base. That, to me, would be what I would do. Catcher, I just think is going to be tough. But, yeah, a catching, long-term option would be up at the top of my list this offseason. I would love to see the Rangers really get a clear-minded vision. What are we doing with the catcher spot? I mean, are we just going to keep patching it together with vets till kingdom come? Are we actually going to try to develop our own catcher? I'd love to see the Rangers, Malcolm Moore pop. I'd love to see them make some kind of move to firmly establish what the plan is for the catcher position. Keep going. Trevor McGill for the Brewers for sure. Value's too high right now, but I'd love him. I would like to get a couple of those dudes for sure. We were talking about McGill and Terang earlier. Be phenomenal. I mean, I do think if you're CY, you got to start getting aggressive sooner or later. Have to. Hey, tomorrow, let's talk through game time. Game is at 7:40 Texas time. A little bit of a later start for y'all. This is right in my wheelhouse. 5:40 start time for me out here in Vegas. So we'll go live probably, 7th or 8th inning again, if I had to guess, 7th or 8th inning. So we'll hopefully be talking about another Rangers win. That's the plan. But I hope you guys will come back and hang out. Just so you know, especially for all my people on TikTok, if you ever miss a live show, I do this pretty much every day. I think I missed about 12 games last year. So most nights we're here talking Rangers baseball. If you ever miss a show and you want to hear what we were talking about, you want to hear what I had to say, definitely hop over on the YouTube channel. I post all of my lives directly to YouTube. Believe they're on my X account as well. So if you have X, formerly Twitter, right, go ahead and you can head over there. And I think most of the live shows stick around on there too. Facebook as well, but I think Facebook eventually deletes them or something weird. So anyways, YouTube is probably the best spot if I had to guess. So if you ever miss a live show, you know what to do. But I'll have a video out to you guys probably later tonight. And then I'll do a series preview video for the Rockies tomorrow. So that's kind of the plan at this point. It's kind of the plan. Pete Fairbanks would be awesome. I wish we would have signed him. We had plenty of room to sign Fairbanks. Self-imposed budget, my butt, man. We had plenty of money. to go get Pete Fairbanks. Not from Vegas originally, Brady, but I've lived out here for about 15 years, and it's definitely home at this point, my guy. So yeah, I love living out here. I miss Texas sometimes. Maybe one day, if this becomes a bigger thing, I'll make it back out there. We'll see what happens, but I love Vegas. It's a great place, great city. Love the weather. A little hot in the summertime, but we put up with it. But absolutely, really appreciate, just want to say one more time, all the support that you guys give the show. Thank you so much. We'll be back tomorrow night. Appreciate you guys supporting the content I put out in the meantimes. Again, video tonight, video tomorrow, previewing the Rocky series. Should be great stuff. Thanks for commenting, giving it a like, sharing it with the diehard. Really, really appreciate you guys. All right, we're going to get rolling. Let's see. Fairbanks has been bad. I haven't even paid attention to him. What's the ERA on Fairbanks real quick before I take off here? Fairbanks, what are we at? Come on. Not Fairbanks, Alaska. Don't do me like that. Come on, Google. You better than that. 9 ERA. Ooh, yeah, not too good. 5 saves, but yeah, 9 ERA is not crushing it by any means. All right, y'all. We'll see you later. Have a great night. And as I always say to end every show, God bless and go Rangers.